Investigating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the anomic age. We're going to run this back one more time, and then we'll just quit. I'll be your tour guide this evening as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Go to anomicage.com if you've not already done so. Right there you can find everything and so much more. That is me. So feel free to check out anomicage.com. We got the Cash App, Patreon link, buy me a cup of coffee, Satoshis, the whole nine, free iPhone app, free Android app, and so much more. Right there at anomicage.com. Oh, boy. So, if you haven't already done that, do so. Like all the likes, you know the deal. No point in wasting any more time. It's the usual suspect gremlin crap that only occurs when I stream on Patriot's Prayer. So, you know, that's how it goes, I suppose. Anyway, things to get into this evening. Kind of the obvious, isn't it? MAGA and their inability to cope with all the Trump lies. So we got title of tonight's episode 496, MAGA sweeping Trump lies under the rug. That's exactly what we're going to talk about this evening. We're going to talk about the plethora, the darn near insatiable, ridiculous, copious amounts of just lies, tomfoolery, falderall, and just failures of the Trump administration. So, if you were coming here for something light, if you're coming here for some red pill, lovey-dovey, we're all just going to sit around and sing Kumbaya and play hacky sack and do a little circle, something, about how great everything's going, then you've come to the wrong place. Alas, that's not how I run things around here. I always just calls it like I sees it. You know what I mean? No sacred cows in my barn, as I always say. So, that's what we're going to get into this evening. And it's really hard to really just kind of focus on one thing because there's so much B to the S going on. 8 days a week and twice on Sunday. You can hardly keep up with the nonsense of the shortcomings, if you will. If you want to play nicey nice and just say shortcomings, you could say that if you want to. I'm not really the nicey nice kind of playing guy, so I'll probably not say that. Anyway, let me give you the rundown here of things that we've seen no action on. And I guarantee you, the cult members are gnashing teeth and rending garments right now, just falling all over themselves to tell me everything Trump has done right. Because after all, he is your savior in chief. He is your idol. It's comical, the folks that still pass themselves off as Christians and are yet idolizing our chairman. Anyway, back to the obvious here. By the numbers, I'll just read the obvious to you. Russian collusion hoax, strike, swing and a miss. January 6th, no, not so much, swing and a miss. Mar-a-Lago raid, 0 done, absolutely nada, nunca, no es posible aquí. The Biden auto pen, no, absolutely 0, nothing done. 2020 election being stolen. I mean, we've seen some states, like the formerly great state of North Carolina, try to change things and stop the gerrymandering and all this just complete horse pucky that always goes on here in this nightmarish hellhole. But as far as the real election fraud, nothing, not so much. Epstein pedophile arrest, absolutely zero. So we got Ghislaine. We got Ghislaine, whatever you want to call it, is Lane. The heir to the Maxwell fortune. Yeah, we got this. I'll try to keep it nice. We got this person in a Club Fed. It's hilarious now. I mean, you've probably all seen this where she's just walking about to and fro wherever on the ground she might happen to go. She's got the yoga. She's got just free reign to just kind of walk around her own little private Idaho, I guess. So not exactly a prison sentence, I don't believe. We got the COVID scam. No, because we still got Chairman Trump, pomp and circumstance and all, telling you how great it all was, telling you how great the vaccine was, I guess how great he was for delivering it to you. Fauci, I guess he's still running amok. Nobody seems to know where that bozo is. It's downright comical because you have these pieces of bipedal phlegm from like 2-3 years ago, and now they've just poof disappeared like phantoms at dawn. These clowns can't be found even in a Where's Waldo book, apparently. So you got old Fauci just chilling. Benghazi, anyone? Absolutely nothing. Doge findings. They've now just shut down Doge. And the hilarity is you had people clamoring, telling how great Doge was. I mean, even in light of the fact that the main guy in the Doge, the guy that Trump supposedly had a falling out with, oh, it's so terrible, they're not pals anymore. This is Captain Upside Down Cross when his Halloween outfit or whatever, maybe he was just wearing that around the bedroom. I'm not sure. But you had that guy. Kid's a tranny. He's doing his own sort of Epstein. Let's see if I can conquer the world by impregnating as many women as possible. Mr. Multi-billionaire himself. SpaceX and all of that. And they shut it down. Shut it down. Shut him down. They sure did, folks. Shut him down. Doge shut down. So I'm not really sure exactly what Doge did. I mean, it revealed the obvious. It was kind of like, holy shnikes, the sun's kind of hot. If you stand out in the midday sun, you kind of might get a little burn. So they stated the obvious, and then everybody just went, okay, cool. Kind of like the old, we're going to order the Federal Reserve. No, you're not. Apparently. We're going to look inside of Fort Knox and see what's there. No, you're not. Apparently. Here's another one. We're going to release all these files from JFK to RFK to MLK to BTK. I don't know. We're going to release all these files. And I guess what got released was a whole lot of nothing, because I ain't heard another whisper in it at all. I guess it was a lot more redacted files. It's kind of like, oh, look, we've released this file. It's black. You can't really read it, but we've released it for you. So pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All right, what else have we got? Ukraine impeachment hoax. Nothing. Absolute butt kiss. But then we have these, I don't even know what you would call these. These like, I'm not going to say that. It's kind of too over the top. For the audience. I try to keep this at a PG-13 level because you never know. I guess I will say the peace deal in the Middle East hoax, because that was broken like hours after the dang thing was signed. You got the Israelis, Bibi, everybody's favorite Bibi. Bibi said, oh yeah, we're going to sign all this mess. The dude wasn't even there to sign it, folks. That was just hogwash from the jump. And then it was all over the news. Oh, look how great Trump is. He's gotten his peace treaty signed. Meanwhile, the Israelis are dropping bombs. Like that old Bombs Over Baghdad song. But this time, I guess it's bombs over Palestine. That old Outcast song, Bombs Over Baghdad, is bombs over Palestine. But wait, there's more. I don't know how much more we want to get into, because this is we could just do like a whole highlight reel of poo-poo, really, is what it boils down to. I got a laundry list. I'll just run some more of these off. What I just gave you there was just some of that obvious internet meme stuff that you've seen so obviously all over the place. Just shaking it out like salt and pepper. Little internet memes here. But stuff you might not have caught up on, or probably you should have, but you probably didn't, is that it seems very obvious that what you voted for was not what you got. You know, it's really comical because in virtually every administration in my lifetime, I mean, I'll certainly say those that I'm old enough to really recall and remember, it's basically everything from like second term Reagan on, it's always the same old baloney, folks. Wasn't it Bush baby? Not Bush the first, but Bush the second, who my grandmother used to call affectionately Bush baby, I believe. No, I'll take that back. She called Bush the first Bush baby. But Bush the second, you know, the cokehead guy. Not the guy that brought the coke in, that would be Bush the first, but the cokehead guy, that'd be Bush the second. Anyway, so the cokehead guy, he famously said that old stupid, you fooled me once, you fooled me twice, you can't get fooled again, man. You know, some you know, hilariously nonsensical dribble that sounds very bushy. But it's really just that, folks. It's that old Who song, won't get fooled again, and then every year you see this bipartisan poo-poo of the troops on both sides lining up. It's like prophase from mitosis meiosis or something. They line up on either side of the aisle, and immediately those on the right vote for all the rights, and those on the left vote for all the left. No matter how stupid and moronic the mess happens to be, no matter what the party platform that is run on, it's always just doo-doo at the end. And no one seems to catch on or actually give a horse's patoot, I guess. I mean, because you've still got the dyed-in-the-wool, true blue cult members. And I want to poke some fun on both sides here because you have to, folks. No sacred cows in my barn. Because as the right always pokes fun at the communist morons on the left as being red diaper babies and sheep dipped and dyed in the wool communist and all this malarkey, we got to say the same thing to those folks on the right about now, pun intended, because that's what you're seeing. You're seeing true cult-like behavior from the morons on the right that are doing everything possible to sweep all the inconvenient truths of dear old Trump, baby, under the rug, man. I mean, the rug looks like an elephant is under the rug at this point. It's like one of those little throw rugs, and an elephant is underneath it. And the MAGA cult members are still going, he's our guy. He's doing everything right. It's all going to work out. It's 5D chess or 5D chess or what have you. It's all trusted plan. It's Q. You just hadn't seen the real action yet. See, he's setting it up, right? This is the big setup. You know, it's like volleyball. They're bank. They're setting it up for the big spike. But alas, there is no spike, folks. There is no spike. And the House and Senate are gone here in a couple of years. I don't even think it's years. What, a couple months now? So there's going to be no more majority on anything. There's just going to be Captain Lame Duck with the House and Senate full of phlegm that want his head on a pike. You feel me? That's exactly what's up, folks. That's what's coming down. And at the end of it, it's going to be the same moronic garbage that you saw at the end of his first term. I'm trying to think of that guy. Oh, man. What's his name? Steve Pachinik, I believe. Steve Pachinik. He was all over AJ's program into the first term. Oh, it's 5D chess. Oh, it's all just a setup for the big drop the elbow. You know, it's a setup for that big Hulk Hogan leg drop. Set up for that big Randy Macho Man Savage coming off the top rope with the elbow. That's what it is. All a big setup. And, well, that came and went. And then we had 4 years of stupid, and here we are again. And I swear to you, folks, we got the same sort of jibber-jabber going on again. Same stupidity. My goodness gracious, silent lucidity. No, it's silent stupidity, folks. That's what this is. The not so silent stupidity. Man, it's disgusting. But I swear to you, like I've mentioned on the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows, if you look at and I'm not even counting the right mainstream media as media. Everybody knows that's dribble. Everybody knows that's bottom feeder nonsense. Everybody knows that's floor flushing trash. If you're listening to Fox, you might as well be listening to freaking CNN. Might as well be listening to MSNBC or whatever they call themselves right about now. It's the same horse pucky, folks. Please don't be that stupid. But that ain't the problem. The problem is the supposed alternative media. Ooh, this is the right. Are you sure? Because I'm not believing nothing the right alternative media's throwing out there either. That's just about as dumb as a box of rocks. Man, I try to stay in my own lane and not criticize other people directly, so I'll just criticize I'm not going to say the names. I'm just not. Obliquely, I will criticize on this one because you could all probably figure it out. Oblique criticism. Because the oblique criticism is you had somebody coming out a couple days ago, well, this was alleged. This was the headline grabber. So everybody would clickbait over oh my gosh, he's finally come to his senses. He's finally going to criticize T. Not so fast, because that was nothing but clickbait baloney. Because in the next day, it was all, I'm not really leaving the Trump camp. No. No. Nope. I'm still on board. And anytime you see people say this, they're always the people that are going to quickly pull out the obvious. Well, it's better than Hillary. Well, it's better than Kamala. Well, it's better than Jeb, or whatever the bleep it is. Man, that's like the most tired baloney I and perhaps you have ever heard. It's like, okay, what kind of rationale is that nonsense? It's like, okay, I'd rather get shot with a 22 as opposed to a 12 gauge. Okay, I guess so. Sure. I'd rather get hit with a piece of balsa wood as opposed to like a 2x4 out of pine. Okay, sure. But, it's the death by 1,000 cuts thing. It's the nonsense that people on the right always say to give you absolutely nothing. It's like, okay, well, duh, that's self-evident. That doesn't change butt kiss. Doesn't change diddly squat. Because we're still in the same little asinine handbasket of turds. Cool. So he's better than Kamala Harris. Okay, sure. That doesn't change the fact that everything that the American people were sold was a pack of bull. I mean, I didn't buy into it, but the vast majority of the public clearly did. And now they've painted themselves into the corner of, what do we do? Do we further criticize and cause a divide? Oh! At this point, folks, there's no divide that the actual people can cause that's any greater of a morass that the president has not already caused. I mean, it's downright comical, folks. Downright comical. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey, like the only two people worth it, even in the political realm right now, I would suggest. And you got MTG saying, I'm out. And when I say this, please don't be so stupid and think, oh, he's kissing the ring of these two people, so he must be on board with all their malarkey. No, I'm just saying, like, Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene, like the only two cats even close to a modicum of America First in the political realm. So, no, I'm not buying into all their bunk either, but I'm saying, okay, well, hell, sort of, maybe at least in the right hemisphere. It's kind of like the old Trump thing. I'm not saying like this is the answer. I'm just saying, okay, well, at least you're not completely giving everything to Israel and the Ukraine and still just pulling the same shenanigans that we've become accustomed to. And now MTG says she's out. All right, I don't blame you. The Trump's getting up there and like land blasting you 8 days a week and twice on Sunday. I mean, I'd be like, all right, well, piss on you too. It's not like I didn't help you get elected or anything. He's got the cojones to say he got her elected. Hilarious. No, folks, the American people have just had enough of the lies and horse bucket, and they just want something that's actually somewhat cogent, somewhat normal. I think the American people are finally waking up to our greatest ally is actually the place controlling the whole nation. Wow, that's a shocker, isn't it? It's that old Voltaire quote, figure out who you can't criticize, and there you figured out who controls you. And before some jackwagon in the comments tries to tell me that wasn't really Voltaire, it was really attributed to Benjamin Franklin, it's always that horse pee with the quotes. So who cares? I attribute all quotes to Big Bird, so top that. Don't care. Don't even answer or look at the comments anyway. So whatever you're saying doesn't matter in the least. But, it's quite clear that's the problem, folks. That's the deal. There's somewhere across the sea. Like that old, what's that song that's always in the Final Destination movies? There's someone walking behind you. Yeah, it's someone walking behind us, all right, that's pulling all the strings, that's controlling everyone in the House, in the Senate, in the obvious three branches of government. They're all controlled by this little tiny nation, a little bit bigger than New Hampshire, across the sea, which 99% of the populace will never visit. It doesn't give a rat's back about. That'd be the one. That'd be the greatest ally that's clearly pulling all the punches. Ah, boy. But don't worry, because we got Adelson still up there looking like Skeletor, the female version. Have you seen Miriam Adelson pictures? I'm not even going to take the high road on this one. Looking like Skeletor, the female version. This is the chick that bought off Trump with $100 million or whatever. Ah, good night. Jeez. Ugh. Just talking about it makes me kind of queasy. It's giving me like flashbacks to Janet Reno from the Clinton years. Good grief. Ugh. Anyway, what else? What else kind of failures have we got on the horizon? I got to throw this out there too, because it's quite clear. Let me see if I can pull up this verse for you, because I had this pulled up before the computer went to turds. Because I was reading it this evening, and I went, aha, Romans 16:17. I appeal to you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions and create obstacles contrary to the doctrine that you've been taught. Avoid them. Yeah, you can look that up on your own. Avoid them. This kind of goes back to one of my credos of life, which is identify scum and stay away from it. Yes, identify scum and stay away from it. Stay away from it online. Stay away from it in real life. Stay away from it in the dreamscape. Stay away from scum, folks. Clear, simple, cut to the point. Wheat from chaff. Find out the scum and stay away from it. Just simple, folks. And there are people causing division. And I know some giblet heads going, oh, John, you're causing the division with your hate of Trump, you damn turncoat. Yeah. I don't care. Cry to somebody else. Don't matter to me. So, it's not division. It's education. Because there's people that are clearly either stupid, ignorant, or willingly ignorant, in which case I would file you under the stupid category, that are still going along to get along and still like, but wait a minute, hold on. There's a big plan coming. Remember those sealed indictments? And he's never cashed in on those sealed indictments. It's still coming down the pike, John. Just hold on. And the other hilarious chorus of stupid that you always hear is, well, John, you see, it's the DOJ and it's the FBI. In short, it's Pam Bondi, it's Kash Patel, and it's Bongino. That's it. That's the problem. You see, he just can't do anything because he can't do anything. Yeah, that's it. That's the problem. And then the other hilarious lie that I always hear, it's right up there with, well, it's better than Biden. You know, it's right up there with that stupid line. The other line is, well, he's got so much to do and he's just one guy and he can't do it all. He's fighting his hardest. And I'm just scratching my head going, yo, this is the job he signed up for, right? I mean, again, this is the same logic always whittled out there by the right when they criticize imbeciles at their favorite satanic coffee joint, Starbucks. You know, the one with the big goddess on the front. That's a satanic demon. Yeah, that one. But they always criticize, well, they just don't want to work. And they're just not doing a good job. Well, hey. What's good enough for the goose is good for the gander. So if you apply that same moronic logic to Twiddledink over there, the they, them, Furby moron at Starbucks, then you also have to apply that same asinine logic to the commander-in-chief. You know, the guy that's run for office 3 times now and run 3 out of 3, but he somehow just didn't understand. That's the other hilarious one. He just didn't understand how bad it was during his first term. He just didn't get it. And then here we are in term number 3, but he's overwhelmed. See, he just didn't understand again. He didn't understand how fouled up it was, and he was just ill-prepared. Yeah, that's like a student showing up to class with no book and no notebook and no pencil. That's dumb. That makes you look like a jackwagon, folks. So, I mean, he would have been better off just putting old Bill Barr back in. Might as well. Might as well put in Bill Barr and whatever the VP, that scumbag that was in during his first term. He might as well just have filled the cabinet positions with the same old schmoes and put Bill Barr back in there, you know? And this is the other funny that I keep seeing all over social media. It's everyone's like, well, there's something big coming. He's about to clear house, boy. He's about to step into that pitch and knock it over the park. Yeah, man, he's about to fire Bongino. He's about to fire Patel. He's finna fire Bondi, too. It's going to be a clean sweep this Thanksgiving, Bo. And I'm like, okay. How many months are we into this sham now? I mean, like, how many months have these boobs been in office that he appointed that hadn't done butt kiss? Christ's sakes, I didn't even cover this. The Anthony Weiner laptop, for God's sakes. Hillary Clinton, remember, that was his big point during the first round of debates in the Trump regime version 1, because he'd be in jail. Okay, yeah, but she wasn't in jail, Trump. She wasn't in jail for those 4 years. She ain't in jail for this one either, because it's all horse fluff, folks. That's really what's up. All horse pucky. We still got people in jail in D.C. Guantanamo, prisoners of war from the January 6th false flag. I mean, we still got people talking like that was a real thing. Folks, if that was a real overthrow of the government, if it was a real the Bastilles event, man, get serious. No one was storming the Bastille. No, nobody in this country has any balls to do that. And that wasn't what happened in the first place. We still got people in D.C. Guantanamo from that whole sham. We still got people like Joe Biggs that wasn't even pardoned. He was just sort of like, time served, you can come out now, but, you know, you still got a rap sheet long as the day, and you still can't get a job, and you still just kind of screwed. That's okay, though. We're not going to pardon you. We just let you out. We've taken care of your sentence. Come on out. Come on. I can't recall the lady. It's like a grandma that's still in D.C. Guantanamo. But in case you missed it, I think this was just this past month, if not this month, I can't recall, where he pardoned Darryl Strawberry for some sort of ills regarding tax that the baseball player Darryl Strawberry committed in the late 80s or 90s. I can't recall. Some sort of tax evasion, horse bleep, I do believe. Look at it for yourself. I don't care. But yeah, he's pardoning Darryl Strawberry. And there's still people in D.C. Guantanamo. I mean, that thing was stem to stern turds. Everybody should have been pardoned. I mean, at some point, you can't sort out the refuse pile. So you got to say, okay, kind of that old adage, it's better to let a guilty person go free than it is to execute one innocent man. Yeah, same is true. So if you're too stupid, moronic, idiotic, or short-sighted to figure out who's who, and they all got to go, Mr. T. They all got to go. But I guess they don't, because, that ain't happening. What else we got? We got the Comey Crockett case. Just got a big whiff. Swing and a miss, the whiff. The Comey Crockett case is adios amigos. Oh, it's going to get appealed, John. Don't worry. It's going to get appealed. Okay, well, here's the deal. If this was such an important venture, don't you think this should have been done right the first time? Kind of leaves you with egg all over your face, perhaps something else akin to the brown stuff. Instead of just doing it right the first time, you got mugs getting dismissed on a technicality. The Comey Crockett case, adios amigos. Is it coming back? Is it not coming back? Who really gives a hootie poo at this point? That's the deal, folks. Who really cares? That's kind of where we're at, man. But the real elephant in the room, well, I don't even know if this is the biggest elephant in the room. Because like I said before, like the rug has got at least one elephant under it. You got the MAGA crowd sweeping all the lies and all the failures under the rug going, nothing to see here. Everything's going fine. What are you talking about? But wait, there's more. Because in Florida right now, I would say an actual great state as opposed to the formerly great state of North Carolina, Florida. In Florida, I think it's 3 people. It might be more. I think it's 3 people were arrested. Excuse me. 3 people were arrested in Florida for eating bacon in front of a bunch of Muslims. Yeah. And this was all run under the ops and auspice of protect the Jews at all costs. That's really what this was about. Man, I'm going to have to get a tissue here in a minute. So this thing in Florida was all done under the auspice of protect the Jews at all costs. Because if you say anything even remotely sideways, slanted, or otherwise obtuse to our greatest ally, I guess you get flogged in the street and maybe you get sent to whatever the Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz. Maybe you get sent there. I don't know. You should have all found this kind of disturbing with the alligator Alcatraz thing, because I ain't heard but like 2 people speak on this one. Alligator Alcatraz, this was, I think, about 2 weeks ago. They basically came out and admitted, we don't really know who's there. We don't know who's been there, who's still there, who's gone from there. This should be a little bit troubling, don't you think? I mean, after all, this is a federal facility, allegedly. And after all, these are alleged criminals. So wouldn't you kind of hazard a guess? You'd probably have a pretty good idea who's in there and who's been there and who's gone from there, things. But don't worry, it's probably nothing. It's no big deal. Oh, boy. But yeah, so I guess if you go to Florida, one of the alleged conservative states, and you say anything at least bit out of line about our greatest allies or the Muslims, if you're out there eating some bacon-less potato sandwiches, and some Muslims come by, man, I guess you're just up a creek because they're finna put you in jail. You see, that First Amendment ain't so first anymore. Oh, my goodness. What's that old song by, the Get Up Kids? Your good intentions count for little anymore. Yep, I'd say that sums it up, old Mr. T. Your good intentions count for little anymore. I think that's the case. I think the Get Up Kids said it quite aptly in the early 2000s. I'm going to say it again and pertain it to Mr. T. Because I guess, that old Voltaire thing must be real because you figured out who you can't criticize, and it's got to be the Muslims and the greatest allies. Ironic, isn't it? I mean, like the two polar opposites, but are they really? Polar opposites in the Middle East, and you can't criticize either one of them. I mean, you got these jacklegs here in land of the sheep, home of the slave, Los Estados Unidos, and you cannot criticize either one of them. Isn't that weird? That's wild, isn't it? You can criticize other people a little bit. Can't say nothing bad about them. You end up under the jail. What else we got as far as non-free speech news? We got to cover all the non-free speech topics. There's so many, it's just downright nauseating, right? So we already covered you can't criticize your greatest ally. That's been the real for a while. That's why all these clowns got kicked off of social media and all this mess. I mean, people I don't even really give a hootie poo about, really, But look at all the clowns that have been just like persona non grata. You have no payment platform. You have no place to speak. You are now silenced. So we got all those different folks. We got the Dan Balzarians. We got Stu Peters. We got Nick Fuentes. We got Ye. I guess Ye is probably going to be back on all the platforms now because he was over there kissing all them rings. Boy, he was over there just, it's like a Diddy party over there with Kanye. He let the greatest allies hang out with him, and he was just, oh my goodness, he was dropping to all kinds of knees to kiss some rings. I guess he's going to run low on money. I don't really know, but man, whew. Talk about backsliding. My goodness gracious sakes alive. Yeah, I look to see a lot more from Kanye. I don't know, man. A lot more meaning, like the usual suspect controlled alt media variety. That's kind of really what I'm referring to. So you got that. So you can't criticize the greatest allies, and you can't criticize the Muslims. You can't do that. It's weird because we went from you can't criticize blacks, you can't criticize gays, you can't criticize any person of color, and now it's gone full retard where all those other protected classes are kind of going like third tier protected class at this point in the game because top tier protected class is Miriam Edelson and the greatest allies, and then I guess it's like 1 and 1A or 1B or what have you. It's like the GOAT debate, man. Is it LeBron or is it Mike? What the kid night? Makes my brain hurt listening to these people. But yeah, that's really what's up now because you've got 1A and 1B of the people you can't criticize. Everybody else, you can kind of like tiptoe through the tulips with Tiny Tim and maybe criticize a little bit. Not too much now. Don't get too close. Oh, man. We got to talk about this one. We got to talk about Elijah Schaffer. Speaking of people that I don't really give a rat's back about, I can't think of any, really. But anyway, so Elijah Schaffer, I guess, is now persona non grata. I guess he's living on the lam, man. He has turned into... I'm trying to think of a good comparison to Elijah Schaffer. I can't think of that cat that's in Russia now. Somebody's going to know who it is in somewhere in the comments. I ain't reading them, but somebody throw his name out there. You know what I'm talking about. The cat that was in Russia that he kept like teasing he was going to come back during Mr. T's first regime, and Mr. T like offered him nothing. He was still like, you dirty rat. I'm going to try to find his cat's name because this is making me mad. Exiled Russia guy. I can't believe I can't think of this dude's name. Oh, this is going to really tick me off, man. Everybody knows who I'm talking about, I swear. It's what you get for doing late night shows. You can't remember some stuff. Man, this really ticks me off. All right, well, there he is. Edward Snowden. That's what I was trying to think of. Edward Blipping Snowden. So maybe Elijah Schaefer is going to be the new Edward Snowden for whatever joke generation we're in now. So whatever joke generation you're in now, I guess Elijah Schaefer might be your Edward Snowden. Maybe. So here's the deal with Elijah Schaefer. Here's what got him into some hot water. So Elijah Schaefer was definitely having the audacity to say that Alexis Wilkins, you know, the big country music star, nowhere. Excuse me. Yeah, Alexis Wilkins, I'm going to do a whole show on honeypots. I've been wanting to do a whole show on honeypots for obvious reasons, because there's so many. But not her, of course. But the lady that is allegedly intermingling with Kash Patel, you know, the guy that's Mr. Do-Nothing, that swore his oath on whatever Hindu piece of literature he happens to be bowing down to, I guess. Anyway, Alexis Wilkins has sued Elijah Schaefer for what, like $5 million or something crazy? They got all kinds of warrants out for him because he dared to say the quiet part out loud, to say what we all kind of knew, right? Come on, man. Come on. Let's not BS here, man, folks. Let's get serious. Fellas, and I'm only going to speak to the fellas out here right now. The fellas can look at Kash Patel and they can look at old Alexis and you can draw your own conclusions there, okay? There ain't no way Kash Patel's reeling in that. I'm sorry. Not happening. The only way that's happening is if it's an op. I'll just leave it. I'm not even going to give you the other options. I'm not going to pick a lock. I'm not going to give you the other options. That's the only way this works out in public. It's the only way. Or I guess, unless he's like a multi-millionaire or something, you know. You could be like, if it's not an op, it could be the old gold digger chasing. That could be it, but I don't think that's the case. So, yeah, Elijah Schaefer's, I guess, living on the lam. He's fled the country because they're trying to get him because he dared to say the quiet part out loud. So that's something too. You know, we got those people in Florida arrested for eating some bacon, and we got Elijah Schaefer on the run for talking some truth towards this great country music icon and also girlfriend to Kash Patel, who looks completely normal all the time. He doesn't look like the cat that ate the canary constantly. He doesn't look like a complete goofball. He doesn't say the most insanely retarded things all the time in press conferences like the Charlie Kirk thing. Nah, I mean, he's full on playing with a full deck. I don't know why anyone would dare to criticize the stellar job that gentleman's been doing. I mean, good grief. Just awesome job that he's been doing. Other things I wanted to get into is Candace, baby. Candace. I love this because, irony of ironies, you had during the, I guess, the incoming of the Trump 3, this time it's personal, Trump 3 regime comes in, and all the lemmings were going, oh my goodness, it's going to be great. Everyone's united. We have the House, and we have the Senate, and we have the justices, and it's going to be great. And then, then the same BS always happens. It's like the appointing of giblet heads. Giblet head after giblet head comes into play. And then you have the polarization of the right party. So you went into this regime going, oh, it's unified. It's going to be great. And then, you know, like a couple weeks into it, we got shots at Massey. We got shots at MTG. We got shots at anybody criticizing the vaccines for like the 100th time. We got shots at the base. I think that was like in the first month. The first month, Trump just came out and just blasted the base that got him elected every time. He was just like, yo, if you ain't down with me, you ain't real MAGA. Some kind of just mentally handicapped gangster mess, I guess. Like, and then everybody just went, "What? You mean you're urinating in our face, and you're telling us that we should like it? That just doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, it doesn't make sense to any rational person." But then again, pull the graphic back up, folks. But to the non-rational mind, the MAGA crowd started doing this immediately. It was like, he didn't mean me. It was those other people. And then the finger pointing started. And then the divide began to grow. And the chasm grew even deeper. And the morass grew even bleaker. And before you know it, it's a fractured, joke-level conservative party that never really was, It's like that old line from the Infectious Grooves. Sarsipius, you dummy. The love that you will find is the love that you will never find, because it's the love that is already not able to be found. It was hopium, folks. It was a lie. It was a front. It was a fraud. It was a dodge. It was a hustle. It was a con. It was a scam. People went into it thinking one thing, and they didn't realize it was something else. A lot of parallels you could draw to a lot of them Transformers people be seeing all over the place, man. Whew. Thankful to God I ain't in that dating pool. My goodness. You got some sea hags out there, a little makeup. They look like some sort of centerfold. And you all seen that big Mike photo shoot lately. My goodness. Mike looking scarier every time I look at him. But you got a lot of them Transformers look a lot better than Big Mike, and you got people fooled. Kind of like I said earlier, don't get fooled again, man. Whew. I'm so glad, man. There's some nasty, scary mess out there, folks. Scary. Anyway, the whole point of me bringing up Candace is because I don't know, and I don't really care. I just find it very amusing that she seems to be one of the few people out here. I'll say her and Stu Peters, again, some of the only cats out here that are actually questioning the answers. And I'm not saying he or she has the right idea on any of it. I'm saying, at least they're doing what you're supposed to do. Question the answers. Question the narrative. Try to figure out from the big old pile of nothing that you were given some sort of semblance of reality, some sort of semblance of good. But this thing all played out just like I knew it would. Because I know now, and I knew then, that it was only going to be a matter of time, just a few weeks, before everybody would move on. Move on and move along, little doggies. We got bigger fish to fry. There's new news on the horizon, and that old Charlotte thing is old news. So the general public just went on about their merry way. Never gave another real thought to what old Charlie Kirk, what happened to him. It's like that line from Boys in the Hood, my favorite line from that movie. Either they don't know, they don't show, or just don't care about what's going on in the hood. What's going on with Charlie Kirk. That's the cold hard facts, folks. I ain't trying to be mean. This is real. I mean, gracious, goodness sakes alive, Erica Kirk's been everywhere. I don't even remember seeing this chick hardly before this man was deceased. Heavens, the Murgatroyd. Since this lady has taken the helm of everything, she's been to and fro and anywhere she can possibly go. All made up like Tammy Faye, like I said it on the last episode. Hack some people off, good. Be mad. Don't care. Just gonna speak the truth. Old Erica out there looking like Tammy Faye 2.0. Out there with them leather pants on. Giving old Vance a little caress. A little one last caress by the Misfits. Maybe it wasn't one last caress. I ain't got any validity on this. I've just been seeing this all over the social media today. Something about this chick being pregnant. Something about this pregnancy just showing up a little bit after the fact. Like it was maybe a little month too late from old Charlie's departure from this world. I don't know. I got nothing to say on it. I'm just saying this is hearsay, innuendo, and dare I say, rumor. So again, man, I don't agree with much that Candace has said over most of her career, but I'm saying hats off to you for at least coming out with something, trying to uncover some truth. That's more than the government's doing. The government sold you a bill of bull. The government said this randomly placed individual with a gun that showed up, disappeared, a chair that showed up and disappeared, did some wardrobe change, get down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton. He was doing all kinds of calisthenics right into his furry lover in this ridiculous police speech. That's the guy, I tell you. That's him. Still, we've got no autopsy. We've had no funeral. We've had nothing. It's just like blip, and it's gone. Off the radar, folks, like a Foo Fighter in World War II. Where did it go, man? Where did he go? We don't know. All we know is that there's nothing more to be said, I guess, except the alleged shooter is in prison, and he's finna get tried and possibly fried on this false flag. I'm going to go again and say I don't even think this cat is real. This dude in prison, I ain't buying that for a minute, folks. No. I believe Marvin the Martian is real over this cat they got allegedly in prison. Please. If you buying that, man, like I said on 3 episodes straight now, I got some oceanfront property for you. In Arizona. Maybe Montana too. Got all kinds of oceanfront dwellings for you. This whole thing stinks. Like I've said before, man, the whole thing stinks. And when I look at all this jive, let's put it on the screen. Can we put this on the screen? All this jive, folks. It's just so obvious, man. This whole thing, stem to stern, is one big old psyop. What, John? What do you mean? I'm thinking it's all a psyop, folks. I would be hard-pressed to point to you something right now in 2025, year of our Lord, that's not a psyop. Yeah. It's definitely an MK Ultra mind control, shock and awe element, as well as a humiliation ritual. They're like wrapped together and forever intertwined. And let me go back to this one more time before I forget about it, because, I mean, I think anybody with eyes to see and ears to hear could call this like Babe Ruth calling his shot. That, you know, the Charlie Kirk thing would blip, be on the radar, and then it would be gone. It'd be gone before Christmas. It'd be gone before God blame Halloween, folks. It's out. The general public don't care. The general public is filled with hopium from Erica Kirk taking the helm and steering the ship and returning MAGA and blah, blah, blah. Basically, cold hard fact, kissing Israel's ring and returning the right to the idiotic neocon horse pucky that brought us 9/11. The PNAC documents, Wolfowitz, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Bush baby, old man Bush baby. All that jive is back again, baby. It's spring again. Sure is. But if people are wondering, yo, John, how did you actually figure this out? You know, it ain't that hard, folks, because it's what always happens. Every news story, every big story, it was once a big story, and then it's turned into a nothing story. If you look at most of the shows I did in the first year and a half of this show, tons of interviews, tons of great guests, and I was really trying to revisit elements from the 1990s that I just slept through. I was too busy skating and going to punk and hardcore shows and just didn't give a rat's. Truth. And damn, girls. That kind of ruined a lot of it. But I just didn't care. I didn't. So I revisited that in the 2000s. I went, good night. I can't even believe all the jive that went down in the 90s. Or on the cusp of the 90s. If you want to go Ruby Ridge, Oklahoma City, Waco, World Trade 1, and then bringing us all the way into World Trade 2, the Revenge, you know, the real Boogaloo flu in 2001. So all that happened. And you know what? All those events, what did I miss? Flight 93, where they shot down a plane over New Jersey, basically. So all this stuff, with the exception of 9/11, was a big story, and then it went cold. So I had tons of guests on talking about all these events. And the sad truth is, it was a great conversation. I learned a lot, and I hope the audience did. But in the end, I don't think it really brought anything. It was just a waste of freaking time. Because at the end of the day, no one cares. That's the truth, folks. Old news is dead news. Insert puns where you need to. That's what's up. So all those events, everything I just listed was a big deal until it wasn't a big deal. What else you want to throw out there? The Clinton Chronicles. You got those two boys murdered on the train tracks. I was actually supposed to speak with that lady, and I think there was some health issues involved, and I just kind of punted on it. I'll get back to you, and then time happened. The arch nemesis of work, the arch nemesis of anything that matters is time. But the rest we pretty much covered. We covered Flight 93. We covered Oklahoma City bombing. We covered Waco. All these things were covered on this show. And the sad truth is, I just don't think it mattered because attention span of a goldfish, that was years and years ago, folks. Nobody cares. It's on to the next big conspiracy, on to the next big false flag, on to the next big op. But all the while, as these things are running and as these things have already run their course, they're huge bricks thrown into the pond. And I think the vast majority of the public doesn't see past those first big ripples. You throw that big brick into the pond, you get a little wave, and then as the ripples begin to dissipate from the source, you think, oh, it's over with, it's gone. But it's not. And it's not because every single one of these ops and a million others probably before that, if you want to go Lusitania, sinking of the Maine, Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, all that crud and so much more, all of that was just, in essence, weapons of mass distraction on the one hand, but at its real core, it was trauma-based mind control. It was normalizing the public to violence. It was normalizing the public to incompetence. Because virtually everything I mentioned, and I didn't even get into the assassinations, JFK, RFK, MLK too, Malcolm X and John Lennon, and we almost got you too, Reagan, all that stuff. It's all trauma-based mind control. Because in every single incident, it was a trauma-based mind control. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this just happened. So everybody got to cogitate and internalize that while simultaneously getting fed the biggest bunch of bull known to man and swallowing it, or being told to swallow it anyway. I mean, Christ's sakes, there's people that still believe that 9/11 happened the way they told us it did on 9/11. There's still people who believe that JFK was shot by a lone gunman. There's still people who believe that James Earl Ray killed MLK. There's still people who believe all this crap. So it's trauma-based mind control, but it's also conditioning you to the incompetence, conditioning you to, here's the narrative, run with it or die. And in doing so, it is a huge humiliation ritual. Just when you think the humiliation ritual can't get any greater, they pull another rabbit out of their backside, and here we go again. I mean, when I look back at the COVID hoax, I'm still stupefied. So many people fell for this bull. And I look back at 9/11, and I'm just like, mouth open, like, what the? That people fell for that malarkey. And then you look at the Charlie Kirk shooting, if that's what it was. It's the same thing. It's just another humiliation ritual. It's like, yo, can we get them to believe that, let me see, this guy that obviously couldn't see very well took a rifle, made it on top of the roof. He was running when the shots allegedly rang out. He changed clothes a couple times. He broke down the rifle. He hid it in plain sight. He was talking to this furry tranny thing. Oh my goodness. It just becomes so moronic. But it's so moronic, and yet people still are going, okay, that's what happened. Like, yeah, we can't wait for this guy to go to trial because, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. So it's all a humiliation ritual. It's really gaslighting 101 again. I mean, that's what all this is. It's the nesting dolls. It's why every single assassination has got like 5 different possible suspects. JFK, it's the grassy knoll, it's the mafia, it's the Cubans, it's the vice president, on and on and on and on and on. That's always the way it is. You start pulling one string, and before you know it, you're standing next to like 5 feet of yard. That's what's up. So it's a trauma-based mind control. It's the humiliation ritual, and it's the acclimating the general public to sheer stupidity, to sheer incompetence. So, I mean, the Warren report was chaired by the guy that JFK fired. I mean, really? The 9/11 Commission was like a mirror of the Warren report in incompetence, ineptitude, and stupidity. And here we are again. They're not even giving you that with the Charlie Kirk thing. I mean, what they are giving you is no autopsy, no known whereabouts of a funeral. The body was removed. The crime scene was destroyed. His inner circle removed evidence. People on the scene removed evidence. Oh, by the way, he was removed in Air Force Two. What? Like, this is just like the shallow end of the pool of stupid that the general public is still aghast that I would dare to question Erica Kirk's legitimacy, that she's not a honeypot, and also sadness, considering she's crying and laughing all over the place all the time. and claiming, oh, I should have grabbed Vance by the buttocks. Ah, my goodness, folks. So there you go. That kind of takes us through some of the highlight reels of stupid in this riveting episode. MAGA sweeping Trump lies under the rug. I'll be back on Thursday, perhaps, maybe not. I don't know. I know that's Thanksgiving, so I don't know. Might just play a repeat of the show. I'm definitely going to dress like a pilgrim and spend some time with my family. But I might play a repeat show. We'll just see how it goes. If I'm not here, let me just go ahead and say it right about now. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Try to have a good time. Try to do what the Bible says and what I also suggested in my very unabridged, vulgar edition. Identify scum and stay away from it. If that means family, friends, loved ones, fine, awesome. Stay away from scum, folks. Stay away from scum. All right, that being said, be safe out there. You can't do everything, but you can do something. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the anomic age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.
Thank you.